Hello, everybody, and welcome to the White Hatter YouTube News Show. I'm Brandon.
And I'm Darren.
Welcome back. It's 2022.
Yeah, it's been a while since we were off. It almost feels like months, for example. How was your Christmas?
It was good. It was a good break.
Yeah, my Christmas. You know what my favorite gift was?
What was that?
Yours. It was. I'm serious. You bought me a piece of land, small, but you bought me a piece of land in Scotland.
Oh, yeah.
Which now makes me a
Lord?
I'm a lord. I have the title of lord now. I mean, it's not fake news. It's real. Like it's a real piece of property. It's my favorite. It was my favorite.
It's 1 foot by 1 foot.
It's still, but as a result of the 1 foot by 1 foot, it comes with the official title of lord. So I'm actually calling Mom my lady. Right? It's pretty funny. But I had a great Christmas, right? Small gathering. I mean, it was great. We had you and your partner up.
Yep.
You guys, your gift to us was Christmas dinner, which was spectacular, by the way. We had leftovers for days, right? Like
True.
She makes a lot of food when she does stuff. So what was your favorite gift this year? And don't say world peace.
World peace. I can't. I
Don't know?
don't know.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
I can't.
I gave you Apple TV.
That was fun. Yeah, that's good. That was good.
Do you like that?
I do like that.
Yeah, cool. Have you got everything set up into it now? Is it like your hub now and stuff, or what?
Yeah. All streaming services that everyone subscribes to now is there. So
Cool.
Yeah.
That everyone subscribes to. Anyways, we won't get into that. But why don't we get into what's new?
Let's get into news stories. Shall we?
In the news.
First news story is Ray-Ban Facebook Stories glasses. The smart glasses from Facebook and Ray-Ban is adding Facebook Messenger support. So using the microphone and speakers available on the glasses, you'll be able to send voice texts or voice-to-text messages from the glasses via Messenger to your friends.
We should be fortune tellers, right? Like we actually, when we first talked about this a couple months ago, when Facebook or Meta came out with their new glasses, we spoke about the fact that we said, you know, I bet you it's only going to be a matter of time before they integrated into their other products that they offer as Meta. And lo and behold, here we go, right? Like I actually see these being able to be used eventually in Instagram, WhatsApp, all the products that fall under the Meta umbrella, right?
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, not surprised at all, right? And, you know, the other interesting thing about this now, too, is I just posted on Facebook as well as in our Twitter feed about, I don't know if you heard, but during the Christmas break, there were a bunch of these people in Quebec who chartered a flight from Quebec down to Mexico. And on the flight, they were partying, drinking, no masks, basically flaunting COVID-19 protocols. And as a result of that, now a couple of people lost their jobs. Now of it being posted. So, you know, with the use of technology like this comes the ability for it to be used in either a positive or a negative way, or for it to be weaponized. But, you know, one of the things I keep saying to people is, in today's world, as soon as we leave our home, even sometimes when we're in our home, but when we leave our home, you gotta think that you're being recorded somehow.
Well, there's no, I mean, here in Canada, that's under our charter. In the U.S., that is a First Amendment right.
Yeah, for sure.
Where people can record you in public.
Yeah, for sure.
There is an expectation of privacy.
Right. Yeah, and same thing here in Canada. There's nothing to prevent anybody from filming you in a public place. There are some exceptions to the rule, like in a bathroom and that kind of stuff. Nothing criminally. Public organizations can post signage that prohibits the use of recording. A good example, Walmart, they all have signs.
Yeah, that's private property.
Correct, right?
That's private property.
And
that's a different story.
if you're violating it, you could be arrested, not for filming, but if you're asked to leave by management, you can be arrested for assault by trespass, right? And those kind of things.
Once you're issued a trespass warning.
That's correct.
Yeah.
So it's interesting how technology, as it you know, because technology can either be used, you say it's like a digital hammer, it can be used in a positive or negative way. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this new wearable technology with cameras in it now is going to affect us in either positive or negative ways.
Or maybe it just makes people a little more cognizant of the rights people have to film in public.
Do you think that's true, though? Do you really think that people are thinking about that?
Well, I know a lot of people
You know, like the two people who lost their jobs as a result of that incident on the charter flight from Quebec, they weren't the ones who filmed themselves. It wasn't their postings. It was one of their friends who caught them in the recording doing stuff, and then that was seen by their employers, and as a result of that, they were let go from their jobs as a result of that, right? So do you really think people are going to care?
I think as cameras become more and more apparent, I think they will. I think I see all the time on social media where people are walking around and they are oblivious to the cameras that are installed in like
everywhere.
Businesses or government institutions. But once someone brings up their own personal phone, that's when tensions seem to rise more.
Yeah, but the problem is though is that the phones, there's no doubt, are the most popular to record.
Yeah.
But as you know, and I know, there's jewelry that lets you do it. There are now glasses that just look like sunglasses.
Yeah.
You won't even know you're being recorded.
Yeah, I like the 360 pendants.
Yes.
That capture snippets.
Yeah. So it's going to be very interesting, right, to see where this technology goes. Because I see some really cool things coming out of this technology, but I also see how this can be used and weaponized for use as well.
Yeah.
So interesting. But it shouldn't surprise us that Meta is now integrating this technology in all their products, right?
Yeah.
Looking
at, so CES has happened.
CES. I really want to go to that.
Maybe not this year.
No.
CES this year it was definitely very barren.
It was, eh?
The screenshots or the pictures of the show floor were like empty.
Yeah.
Not all
I wonder why.
companies were there presenting products. A lot of companies are doing virtual showings. A couple products in particular that
I saw some cool stuff, I thought, came out.
I think this year CES, there wasn't as much cool things as there has been over the last few CES.
But these are a couple things that you found that you thought were kind of interesting.
There at least were. I mean, sure, there's like the new OLED TVs that are like 70-something inch from Sony, and like, okay, cool. Or the 4K projectors. I mean, okay, cool. But at least for this show, talking about technology and how it implements into our everyday lives, and privacy and security. Chipotle, card
Is that
spot.
something you eat?
Chipotle.
Just saying. Anyways, what's Chipotle?
It is a credit card size. It's about 2 credit cards thick, or maybe 3. Wallet tracker. Now, why I shared this is because it integrates with Apple's Find My network.
Oh.
So it's basically an AirTag.
So why not just use an AirTag?
Well, AirTags are more bulky. They're
thicker.
Yeah, they're thicker. This is just a flat credit card size to fit more into.
Kind of looks like
wallet.
a Tile.
Well,
because Tile has something
funny
very
you
similar.
say that. Tile has a credit card size Tile tracking device.
So let me guess, competitor?
Yeah, this one just integrates with the Find My network, and not so much that this is a cool tech because it's a credit card size. It's cool because it's partnered with Apple, and that Apple is allowing this to work on their Find My network.
Can I be honest with you about this product?
What?
I think it's going to go by the way that dinosaur. Why? Because I think as a society, we are quickly moving away from wallets in the old sense that you used to carry in your pockets and that kind of stuff, more to the, I forgot to turn it to silent mode, more to the digital wallets, right? Like it's COVID is a really good example of that, how a lot of businesses were now moving away from cash, taking cash, and they were only taking things digitally, digital payments by using technology, right? So as a result of that, I do think that although this is cool, they're opening it up to a competitor to Tile, obviously. But I think you're right. I think the cooler thing is how Apple is now opening up their products to allow companies to piggyback onto their technology, right?
Yeah, I'm thinking of other products, like, for example, if you're traveling with a big camera, like our cameras we have here.
Yeah.
What's stopping the manufacturer from putting a Bluetooth tracker in there that integrates with your Find My network? So instead of buying a separate AirTag to hook onto your expensive camera or luggage, why not have it just built in?
Yeah, another good example, this weekend we helped a family from the U.S. actually, whose mother was threatening suicide and had left in a car. And the mother, obviously, she had done her homework because when she was texting, after she texted her message, she turned the phone off. So when law enforcement was trying to ping them, it wouldn't ping, right? It wouldn't ping off of a cell phone tower. So, there are other things, like she was using a vehicle, I'm not going to mention the brand, that actually comes with a GPS built into it. And with that, this auto manufacturer allows people that if your vehicle is stolen, you can, if you notify the police and the police connect with them, the company can then use the GPS satellites to pinpoint where the car is located in the world.
That one's a little harder to turn off unless you go into your car and rip it out.
Correct, right? So, but it's kind of cool how it can be, but then again, it could be weaponized, right? Like, we've written several articles now on issues surrounding technology-based aggression or violence, where after relationships, partners will now use technology for the purpose of covertly tracking as a form of abuse.
Yes. Right. Now, because this integrates with Apple, and I'm sure Apple's worked with them, it does have the same Apple anti-tracking protocols, much like AirTags. Again,
but
are they perfect? No. But nothing's perfect, because otherwise it wouldn't be able to track anything.
Right.
So it does have the same limitations, which Apple has more compared to like Tile, which doesn't have those kind of limitations.
Yeah, I think this is cool from the 2 points that you brought up. Number one, it's a competitor to Tile. But number two, it allows an external third party to integrate with the technology that Apple is using. And as a result of that, it could potentially be applied to a variety of different other platforms, right?
It's a great business move for Apple, because it's competitor to Tile, but it's not a risk to them, because they're not making this product.
Correct.
They're just offering the network.
Yeah. I
Anyways.
honestly do believe that the traditional wallet as we know it is going to go by the way of the dodo bird. I truly do. This is another reason why I think we as parents and caregivers need to start talking to our kids more about how to conduct digital transactions.
Yeah.
I mean, gone are the days, or we're getting close, when you were growing up, a good example, we would give you money for chores, right? You would take paper money, and then you could go to use that paper money to go to a store to buy yourself Lego, because that's what you were big into, buying Lego, right, at that point in time. Well, a lot of stores aren't taking cash anymore, right? They're doing it all digitally now. So,
or just order off of Amazon.
Yeah, or just order it off of Amazon. Right. Yeah, good. Yeah.
I mean, there still is some use for physical documents.
Cash? Is there still use for paper cash?
I mean, if you're
Really?
going to a farmer's market, unless every farmer's market teller has a
lot of them are doing that
has
now.
a
When's the
square-
last time you went to a farmer's market?
It's been a while.
Yeah, like we go to them during the summer. Most, not all, but most of them now
Have a
tile
square.
Yeah, have a square or
Yeah.
some other kind of a reader, right? Because they know that that's how a lot of people are doing their cash transactions now, right? So interesting.
Yes.
Interesting to see where things are moving. Interesting. Anything else from the show?
Again, I was kind of disappointed this year with CES, but except for the big massive TVs, those were cool.
That would look good in my room, eh? Look in our TV room, an 80-inch flat screen. Oh, I got a
OLED?
70.
Yeah.
I got a 70-inch now, but it's not the high.
It's
def.
not the new OLED tech.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
How much are they? They're probably big bucks.
I didn't look at the price. I
probably
wasn't
big
going to even start looking at that price. But you can imagine.
I mean, we got 70-inch monitor. I think there's 70 inches in front of us right now, right? The two 70-inch monitors in front.
Yeah.
Of us. Yeah.
But they're more meant for production for us to see what's happening rather than
sure.
experience a nice movie.
For sure. What's this one all about?
Another product I want to talk about from CES is Ring has announced a glass break sensor into their network. So it is a specialized device. Ring is that doorbell camera what they launched first.
That on Dragon's Den said would never go anywhere.
Did they?
They pitched it on the Dragon's Den actually, or on the Shark's Tank. They pitched it on Shark's Tank, and the shark said, "Oh, this thing will never go anywhere. It's a flop."
And then what? Amazon bought it?
Yeah, it just blew up, right? He now actually is invited in as a guest shark every so often to sit on the show, and he basically looks at him and goes, nah, because they're multi-billion dollars, right? So this doesn't surprise. By the way, didn't they come out with that robotic thing? Remember, I want one, right? Where it's the robotic camera.
Flying camera.
Yeah, it's like a drone
Quadcopter.
camera, right?
That will do like Sentry protocols.
Like Arnold
around.
Schwarzenegger, the Terminator show. So this one listens to glass break, and then it sends a message, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm devilish, right? You know that.
Go on.
Wouldn't it be funny? You go to a friend's place who's got one of these, and you take a glass and you smash a glass on the floor, and then all of a sudden, what does it do? It notifies the police, and the police come knocking on your door. Just saying.
I don't know. I don't know I don't think it will notify police right away. I'll probably send you a notification first before police.
Okay. So you do it still, and your friend starts walking around the house trying to figure out which window is being broken, right? Like, yeah. The other it's an interesting idea. It really is. In 30 years in law enforcement, when I went to break-and-enters, not a lot of break-and-enters in homes were as a result of window breaks or glass breaks.
Oh, yeah?
And one of the other things that we found was that we saw an increase in people who were doing home break-and-enters carrying duct tape and using duct tape. We were going,
duct tape? I mean, I love duct tape. Duct tape is the best multi-use tool
Why
out
are all
there.
these people, why do they all have duct tape, right? Well, we finally figured it out. We went to a break-and-enter where what they were doing is they were duct taping a small area on the window with duct tape.
Okay.
And then they'd smash the window with the duct tape so you wouldn't hear the smash. And then when you peel the duct tape away, the broken glass would come with the duct tape, which now allows them to reach through the hole and then open up a door, undo the lock, right?
Okay.
So
Okay.
that was a countermeasure that they were using to help reduce the audible alarm of hearing glass smashing, right?
Did you hear that ring? Can you detect that? That will be the question.
Yeah. Send us a unit and we'll test it for you.
We'll go to like the mass produced glass place and get some test glass.
Get some tests, do some glass
Love
testing.
it. But you can see how this could be like integrated with their whole network. Where you have a sound of glass breaking, the little flying drone pops up and investigates it, and then you remotely can see it happening.
Yeah, and then what you do is you put tasers on the remote drone. Right, so somebody comes, you tase them. You can't do that in Canada because they're illegal in Canada, but in the United States, tasers are available in most of the states and that kind of stuff, right?
Put a taser,
or a net gun that shoots a net at them, right? Like Spider-Man or something like that. You put that on the drone helicopter that's flying around. Oh, there's an intruder. Spray him with a web.
Someone obviously watched the whole Home Alone series during the winter
or
break.
Even put bear spray on there. Shh. You just hope your wife doesn't come home, doesn't enter the right password, walks in, and then gets bear sprayed by the drone. Anyways, it's been Christmas break. I'm a little giggly right now. Anyways, kind of interesting. I kind of cool. I mean, again, I think they're taking kind of an onion or multi-layer approach to protecting your home, right?
Yeah.
Kind of a good idea.
I mean, I've seen. I don't know who.
Is it listening to anything else, though? If it's listening for glass break, is it listening for anything else? Is it listening for voices? Like,
well, it will hear all the
interesting.
voices, but it's not processing that.
Do we know that? We don't know that.
Well,
we're making an assumption.
Well, that's what they're claiming, and obviously people who are hesitant.
Who owns this?
Amazon.
Oh.
Well, for people who are hesitant of this technology, this is probably not going to sway their opinion.
Yeah.
But I do question, at what point does Ring have all these sensors in their network that the overall benefit just way outweighs any privacy concerns?
Yeah.
Do you think that is a possibility where Ring is an all-one stop for everything in terms of monitoring, managing your household?
Oh, for sure. I think
not having it-
traditional alarm companies are slowly going by the way of the dodo bird as well, because traditionally you could get glass break sensors that were put in place by companies here in Victoria. I won't mention who, had their own monitoring stations and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
That would monitor alarms, your video and alarm.
Yep.
Well, what technology now is doing here is it allowing the homeowner do that, so they're cutting out the middleman and therefore saving themselves a ton of money. So
Yep.
it's interesting, right? So again, they're kind of taking a layered approach to home security, which is something that we've always recommended, right? Like, it always starts with the outside of your home. Light it up, lock it up, alarm it up, right? The 3 stages to making your home less attractive. Because the reality is somebody's searching and looking, and criminals are lazy animals, right? Like, they're going to pick the easiest target. And if I see home A and it has all the security features in place, and I got home B that doesn't, guess what? Which one I'm picking as the criminal? I'm picking home B, right? Because the risk to me is going to go down dramatically. But I mean, it's an interesting onioned approach, right?
Let us know in the comments what you think about this new product.
For sure.
And last news story for the show is this article. So the Austin, Texas Police Department have issued a warning around criminals, scammers, who are using QR code stickers and they're sticking them onto pay parking meters. And the scam is that it will take them to a website where they can then pay for their parking.
When you think about this, devilish ingenious. I mean, it really is. Now, we've spoken about the use of QR codes in public being dangerous.
We've been talking about
for
this
years.
for, I would say, probably a decade now.
In fact, we used one many years ago at a social media conference that we did where we put up QR codes everywhere just to see how many people would click on it, right? Do you remember that?
A conference of people whose jobs it is to market on social media. How tempting do you think a QR code would be to them? And this was in the early days when QR codes were more of a hot topic. We're like, ooh, really interesting.
So you did it. It was an empirical study just to see, and oh my God. And when people clicked on it, it sent us a message to let us know what kind of a product were they using, all kinds of metadata. And it sent them a message. Do you remember what the message said?
It was like, hey, did you verify this site was safe?
That's right.
Come visit our security talk at the conference at this time in this place.
It was a good way for us to advertise our talk, right? And it worked quite well.
Pretty good.
But we also know a couple years ago there was incidences here in Victoria where people, realty signs, a lot of realty for sale signs will now have QR codes on it, right? Which allows you to click on the QR code so you can go to the realtor's website to actually see more information on the home.
Yeah.
Well, competitive realtors had produced QR code stickers and they were putting them on top of so it would take them to their real estate site, right? So what happened on this one, Brandon?
This one, so basically, what I stated was they made a website which was impersonating the city's.
So it's a phishing attack.
It's a phishing attack. Yeah. Sends you to
using a QR code.
Sends you to a link that looked like an official city pay for your parking website, when in fact it might even go to the city. It went to the scammer.
And people are getting so used, because a lot of cities now, like that's an old one. That's an old parking meter. They picked the wrong one to use, in my opinion, because it shows you that you can still use coins and that kind of stuff. The newer ones just don't look like that. But I mean, people are so used to now using their cell phones to pay for parking, right?
Well, our city of Victoria has a fairly new pay parking app that you can pay your meter remotely from your phone.
Like, it'll be interesting to see how there's an increase in these types of crimes as a result of this thing going public now, taking place in other cities right across Canada and the United States. Because when you think about it, how easy it is to print these things off at home on the stickers and then just go around the city posting these on all the parking meters, right? And people not knowing any better will go, oh, that's kind of cool. That's convenient. Because with convenience comes vulnerability, right?
Now, like Apple, for example, for Apple's QR code built-in reader, before it takes you to a QR code site, it will pop up with the link to the site.
Right.
So at least you can get a quick glance.
Yeah.
But as we know, through decades of phishing attacks, you know, misspelling a website or buying a website with different domain name, it's easy to make a website name look official.
Yeah, for sure.
But I do know, like, security companies like Norton and such, I think Norton has one, where they have a QR code reader that it's a separate app, so it's not built in, so there's an extra step involved.
Right.
But it will cross-reference any QR code with known phishing and malicious websites in their network.
Right.
So, but that's not the built-in way. You have to actually open their app to use it, where Apple is just open the camera app and you're good to go.
Right.
So
interesting. Good show.
Yeah.
Busy week this week. We got like 10 school presentations this week.
Nice.
10. Like we are getting really busy, and you know, now that school's back in after taking a break and then extending a week because of COVID, it'll be interesting to see what happens in schools across Canada right now with regards to COVID and the new Omicron variant and stuff, what's going on. But really getting lots and lots of business, not just from Canada but the US right now as well, which is kind of cool. That's why I love the White Hat Virtual Studio, because it gives us the ability now still to connect with schools virtually, using the studio to do things that is just unbelievable, right?
Yeah. Well, even if, you know, there wasn't any social distancing and there was no virus going around, I think the benefits of doing virtual still far outweighs the in-person.
Yeah, I still get schools. I got one just recently wondering if we could still come in and do it in person, right? Because they were going to put proper protocols and distancing in place. So I still think there'll still be a need. So I think the way to go definitely is digital, but still being able to offer a hybrid approach. Like if a school really wants you or me to come in to present, we're not going to say no, but it's definitely going to be more expensive compared to doing what we do virtually. And the feedback we've been getting from teachers, students, and parents is they're digging the digital just because of the way that we do it.
I think that's our biggest challenge. I think that's a big challenge for many people who are doing virtual is how a lot of people are expecting things to be Zoom meetings.
Yes.
And I think that's the standard precedent that's set.
That's what I hear consistently going, Darren, I know that you're offering, Zoom events, but, we're getting a little bored. And the first thing I say, it's what we do is not a Zoom event. And I said, here's how I kind of put it. I don't know what you think, but here's how I share it. I said, I want you to think of Zoom, Teams, some of the other products that are out there. I said, I want you to think of that like watching a black and white TV. What we do is like watching a 70-inch flat screen TV.
Yeah.
Right? Because we use 2 sets, 6 different camera angles. I mean, we're doing a variety of different things. It's an actual video production, virtual video, live video production. It's not a boring talking head in front of a basic webcam thing where it's boring, right? Like,
I guess it's more similar to, it's not a Zoom meeting, it's more of a YouTube broadcast.
Yeah.
Not technically using YouTube, but it's similar to a proper YouTube broadcast.
But I think it's even more than a YouTube broadcast because, again, we're using a variety of different camera angles.
I guess it depends on who's broadcasting to YouTube.
That's true. I mean, to me, it kind of looks like a TV broadcast where you're watching a news where you're getting multiple camera angles coming in and integration. I mean, what's really cool with our virtual platform now is students can now, which they're really digging,
that's true,
interact with us now with their own devices.
Which I guess is a good segue to say to everybody who's watching is that we are going to be planning on doing Q&A response videos here on YouTube.
Yeah.
Where sometimes we do presentations to
so
student groups, and there are so many questions that we just do not have time to respond to. Where maybe what we'll do is...
Because we want to respect the school and the time that they've given us, right? It's not as if we'd love to stay longer to answer all the questions, but we can't because we've got to respect the school.
We have
right?
another school in the next 30 minutes.
Exactly. Right?
So I think what we're going to start doing is taking top-rated questions in our live programs and then do some video responses to them.
I think that's a great
here
idea.
on YouTube.
I think that's a great idea. It's just a great idea. So, good show, good start of the season. Some really cool things. Devilish ingenious this QR code reader, right? And stuff. So, on behalf of myself, I'm Darren
and Brandon, and we're back on a regular schedule. So we'll see you all next time. Bye, everybody.
See ya.